Hello! This is Janey and Max from Sort of the Story, and we're here to tell you about some things that are happening between episodes 63 to 75.
During these episodes, there are interspersed audio break-ins of a person's voice along with the sound of static. You'll also notice in the show notes for these episodes, there is sort of a puzzle. This is part of a longer puzzle that we did leading up to episode 76, so this is all supposed to be there. Nothing to worry about, just a fun game.
Yeah, and we hope you have a lot of fun with it, and we hope you enjoy listening to these next couple of episodes. All right, enjoy this one. It's a good one, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we say some really stupid shit in this. You're going to love it. All right,
Bye!
Hello!
And welcome.
To Sort of the Story. Okay, I don't know why, but you said it really fast this time.
I was afraid you were going to bail on me again.
I am not the one that historically bails.
Except that one time.
I did it on purpose for a joke.
I've been burned before.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the podcast.
This is the podcast where we tell each other stories. We find fairy tales, folk tales every week, and we tell them to each other, and it's a good time, we think.
Yeah, we have a great time. We don't know about you, but you know what? Who invited you?
We did. Hi, we're so glad you're here.
Hi, I'm Janey.
I'm Max.
I am the one with the higher pitched voice that is usually louder.
I'm the one with the even higher pitched voice.
Okay, so this is not a podcast for children, even though it is a fairy tale podcast, because we curse a lot and we make a lot of really dumb jokes. Max, we are facing each other directly, and I'm
really
not used to talking to you face to face anymore.
No, I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with eye contact on the best of days, and I am staring straight down the barrel
and
here.
I put on makeup today.
Me too.
You look stunning.
You know, who wouldn't want to look at us?
I would want to look at us all day long. Okay, well, Max.
Oh, just to clear up a little hiccup that we had.
Okay, listen, you can't even tell.
Just so you guys know, we're doing things a little bit out of order because when Janey was queuing the episodes to be uploaded, she switched episodes 63 and 62.
I pay for this crime forever.
No, just the once. We haven't said anything about it yet.
Must I live with my shame for the rest of my life, Max?
So, not really a huge effect, except that usually we try and alternate who goes first, and this week I'm going to go first, even though the last released episode I was first then also.
Listen, I am but human.
Janey is currently working on her notes app apology for this grievous error that she has committed.
I will never. And you know what? I think I'm owed an apology now.
Mm-hmm. Well, sorry that you think that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it just, we were going on our holiday breaks and everything like that, and then I jumped the gun and I was like, do I have to post this now? And then I realized there's already one in the queue. Hooray! And it was just a big old misunderstanding.
Yep. It was a whole thing.
Okay, I don't need to explain myself to you. Max.
Now that we're done explaining ourselves.
Are there any Discord news? Did we get anything fun?
Oh, 2 terms that you guys might not be aware of. First of all, a drug rug is one of those hemp sweatshirts.
And not a mustache.
It's not a mustache or a haircut. We found that out. Janey and I found that out today from one of the lovely people in our Discord, Alexis Ray. And I got to teach everyone one of my favorite phrases that I thought everyone knew, but apparently nobody does, which is a gully washer, which is a very brief and heavy storm, usually in the middle of the day. Literally like a rainstorm that comes, pours rain for like an hour and then is gone. And it washes out the gullies. And so that's a word that apparently comes from the Midwest. And I think it's pretty cool. And I made up a cocktail about it.
Max made a very serious cocktail that she was very proud of. And then I made a stupid joke about how it's just going to be a glass of Coke that you drop a Mento in and then run. And Max meant to respond to me, and she was like, yeah, take that, you gully washer, you dummy.
Get gully washed, idiot.
Yeah, that is, get gully washed, dummy. And she realized that she had actually hit reply to a very kind member of our Discord who's a very nice person, and it looked like out of nowhere she just started fucking roasting this nice person.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite things to happen on the Discord.
That's pretty good. We got a lot of really cool stuff happening on the Discord this year that we're planning. So if you haven't joined our Discord yet, please do. You can find all that information at sortofthestory.com.
Yeah. Just go to like little contact page and see how you can hang out with us.
Yeah,
also, it's fun. Just come hang out with us. We're nice.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Max, who fucking roasts people for no good reason.
What's up, idiots? Get gully washed.
Get gully washed, you dummies. We also have been getting some cute emails. Thank you for all your emails and your questions, and we're going to reply to all of you. It's just, we're bad at things.
We're bad.
We are trying our best. We don't have to explain ourselves to you. Here's what happened. We got really busy. But I got a random email. Well, we got an email to the thing, but it was to me. From Jillian Taylor. And all it says, the subject line, Janey, this is your mom. And then inside it says, and I'm proud of you, with a heart. And it took me way too long to remember that I jokingly asked people to do that. Like, I don't even know what episode ago that was, but it was really jarring because I was like, Jillian Taylor, you're not my mom.
I also get notifications for the email on my phone. I'm just worse at checking them. But I did get that specific notification where I was like, oh, you just received an email. It's sort of the story. Janey, this is your mom, and I'm proud of you. And I was like, oh, Janey's mom is proud of her.
No, she's not.
So
to call her up and say, excuse me.
Thanks for that brief moment of hope, Jillian.
Jillian, terrified. I was terrified. Okay, well, with that, Max, you want to just get started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's do it to it.
The first story of January.
Yeah,
for
Happy
us.
New Year.
For us.
Mm-hmm.
Happy New Year.
It's
I'm
January
excited to
2nd.
see what you're starting for us.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna. Cool.
Okay, cool. All right.
All right, Janey.
Okay, Max.
I have a story for you today.
Good.
The name of this story is The Name.
Oh, what could it be about?
It's pretty confusing that is the name. This story comes from The Magic Orange Tree and Other Haitian Folktales collected by Diane Wolkstein. I've used this a couple of times on the podcast in the past. Diane Wolkstein is one of my favorite folklorist and folktale collectors. She's really good about, really specifically citing her sources, talking about the culture that surrounds the act of storytelling and everything like that. The Magic Orange Tree is specifically in Haiti, and she went around to people from all walks of life in Haiti and had them tell stories, which is especially cool because in Haiti, storytelling is a huge part of culture and society, where to the point that some people are professional storytellers and that's just their job. They kind of go around and tell stories, which is very, very cool.
Diane Wolkstein was also a trailblazer in that one day she just went up to the mayor of New York, right? And was like, hey, what if I got paid for being a storyteller? And they were like, is that a thing? And she's like, it is now. And then she was just New York's storyteller.
Yes, the first
you
and last.
Can just do that. The worst they can say is get out of our office.
The worst they can say is you're under arrest. How dare you?
We're deporting you. Even though you're from here, we're sending you anywhere else. But that's the worst.
Yeah. They're like, we're sentencing you to death for the audacity. How dare you?
The gall you storytellers have. But that's the worst.
Yeah. But Diane Wolkstein started this whole program in New York called, what is it called? Tales in the Park? Stories in the Park? Which is she would go around to the different public parks in New York City and have set days that she would go and tell stories, and kids were invited to come and everything, and it's very cool. It's an ongoing program that still exists in New York City today.
But nobody's getting paid for it.
No, I don't know that. But she's started a storytelling institute in New York City as well that trains storytellers and everything. She's an incredible person. Unfortunately, she has passed away, but just incredibly deeply cool folklorist. We talked about her before, and I love her. So that's kind of what this book is. And again, she went to Haiti, and she, at the preface of every individual story, she talks about the person who told her the story, the circumstances, their manner as they were telling the story and everything, which is very, very cool.
That is cool.
The story that I'm telling you today, The Name, she describes the woman as being, she was an older woman who was very, very severe. And she was all the kids came to hear this story and everything, and Diane Wolkstein was with them, and she was like, I, as an adult woman, felt this woman would say something and then, and everyone would be and she was I felt I was being about to be scolded a couple of times. She had that kind of presence about her, and so
that's the presence I want to give off. But no child respects me, and I know that now about myself.
Kids only respect me because I'm tall.
I need to be taller.
And they know I can throw them into the sun. This podcast isn't for kids because if you bring a child here, I will throw them into the sun.
Throw them into the sun. They will burn on the surface of the sun.
I'm an evil Jotun.
Aw, that's nice.
But aside from that, I am going to tell you a story. So here we go. There was a girl, and she had been captured by an old woman who was a witch.
No!
Yeah, every time, man. They get you every time. And the witch was basically forcing her to keep house for her, to clean, to cook, and everything. And the girl could find no way to escape because all of the neighbors that had been around the witch's house had moved away because they were like, that's a witch and we don't want to be near her. So there was no one anywhere around that she could ask for help. This little girl was just kind of kidnapped by this old woman.
Okay.
And every night when the girl would set dinner down on the table, the old woman would say to her, if you can tell me my name, you can eat.
Oh.
And this little girl, the entire time she was there, did not eat or drink. She didn't have access to food or water.
What a way to lose your servant real fast.
Yeah. Doesn't seem sustainable, but...
No. Also, what a weird game to play.
Yeah. So it's like a Rumpelstiltskin kind of deal, where the little girl doesn't know her name.
But somehow worse. I guess he's about to take a human baby. I guess it's not worse, but like...
Yeah, she's a human baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Screw this witch.
So she says, you can eat if you can guess my name, right? And the little girl can't guess her name and is a little bit afraid to try. So she just stays silent and watches the witch eat her dinner every night. Oh, also, sorry, there's a line in here that says, the witch said to her, don't blame me if you're hungry. I'll give you food if you can tell me my name. And like... No, but do blame her. Like, yeah, you made the rule.
Your fault. Also, though, what if she has her name, like, everything around her is monogrammed, and she's wearing a name tag, and, like, every day she's like, okay, you're gonna sweep the floor, my name is Rebecca, and you're going to trim the bushes, my name is Rebecca Goldstein, and you're going to... Like, what if every day she just says her full name, and this little girl's like, I don't know.
Oh, but what if it's a trick?
I'm too
shy.
That's
not her name.
I'm much too shy.
Yeah, if this were a different folktale, I feel like it would be like the secret is that the little girl just has to ask her name, and that never occurs to her.
Okay,
but that's not
that.
That's not this, and also I haven't heard that story. I just think it would be a cool one.
Okay,
so one day the old woman goes out and she goes hunting for food, and she kills a turkey. She kills a turkey. She brings it back and she prepares it and everything. This is a little bit gross. If you're not super into animal parts, which
30 seconds.
She guts the turkey and she takes out the intestines, and she tells the little girl to go and wash the intestines in the river. Now, I did some research. I was like, it's not giblets, it's not chitlins. I was like, I don't know what you would call turkey intestines. And that's because the amount of time and effort that it takes to prepare turkey intestines, like to get all of the half-digested food and poop out of them so that they're edible and not poisonous, is insane. And also there's barely any meat. So basically she's giving her like an impossible task for fun. I had to look this up because I was like, is this like a dish that I haven't heard of? But no, it's not. You just can't eat that, basically.
Tell us about a little girl who invents the world's first turkey enema?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that was
the name.
I'm glad. Oh, the name is her name.
The name is, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, the name is, the whole story is about her coming up with a brand name for her turkey enema. She has to visit 3 witches.
It's the Gobbler.
Oh, wait, give me 30 seconds.
Fast forward 30 more seconds. Because I'm leaving in all the silence.
Oh, no. The turkey irrigator.
That's just what it is. The Gobbler. I don't know. I can't think of anything else.
Ew.
Go ahead.
So, she sends the little girl out to clean these turkey intestines down at the river. The little girl goes down to the river carrying these intestines, and at the riverbank, there is already waiting for her an eel and a shrimp and a fish, and they're all like at the edge of the water.
3 best friends.
Yeah. They're all at the edge of the water watching her walk up to them with an armful of guts. And she gets to the river and she starts to wash the intestines, and the eel is like, hey, are you washing those for the old woman in the house over there? And she's like, yeah, I am. And he's like, well, if you want, I could tell you the old woman's name so that she'll let you eat.
Yeah.
And the girl is like, you know her name? And the eel is like, yeah, I do. And I'll tell you if you give me a little bit of that intestine to eat.
Yeah.
To eat.
To eat. Well, I like it. Her name is Rebecca. Some stomach, please.
So the little girl pinches off a piece of intestine and gives it to the eel, and the eel goes and swallows it whole and then dives under the water and swims away.
What a slimy little snake.
Rude eel. And then the shrimp is like, oh man, that sucks. Like, that's a really shitty thing to do to a person. That's rude as hell. He should not have done that. I'm really sorry. I also know the witch's name, and I will tell you her name if you would give me also a piece of intestine.
No, tell me the name first.
So she breaks off a piece of intestine.
Stupid idiot.
And she gives it to the shrimp, and the shrimp goes and swallows it whole and then swims away. And she's like, nuts! Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on shrimps.
Shrimps! 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 I'm a simple person, and I get excited by very simple things. I like the word shrimps.
Scrimp.
Mm-hmm.
Love a good scrimp. So finally, only the fish is left by the riverbank. And the fish is like, oh, man, I'm really sorry for those guys. Like, honestly, like, we're not even friends.
Don't
like,
you do
I
it.
was just,
Don't you do it.
Just an acquaintance, and like that was pretty fucked up. So, but like, you're really lucky because I also know the witch's name.
Do
and
you?
I will tell you, but also the three of us were going to lunch, and they obviously just already had lunch. So if I could also have some intestines.
Give me some of those guts.
Give me them guts. Let me get in them guts.
I mean something different in the river. That's river talk for eating.
Eating intestines.
Yeah. Please don't mistake it when we say, please let me get in those guts.
Yeah, that means we want a snack.
Yeah. No.
And the fish is like, just give me some intestines and I will tell you the witch's name.
Do you think...
For real. Promise. Fins crossed.
Do you think a good episode title would be Gobble Those Guts? Let me gobble those guts.
Yes.
Hey girl, what them guts doing?
Can I gobble them?
Okay, anyway, sorry.
Yep. So she looks down, and of this like huge amount of guts that she brought to the river, there's only a little bit left, right? And she's like, all right, but you have to promise. And the fish is like, I promise. For sure. 100% you can trust me. What? You're gonna tell me that a fish is gonna lie to you? And she's like, I guess I won't say that, but as long as you're telling the truth. And the fish is like, I am telling the truth. I will tell you her name if you give me this intestine. And she's like, are you sure?
Give me the first initial.
And the fish is like, yes, I promise I will do it. Just give me the intestine. And the little girl is like, all right. And so she takes the little bit of intestine that she has left. She breaks off a small piece and gives the rest to the fish. And the fish is like, sick, thanks. And swims away.
No.
And now she's desolate because not only does she not know the witch's name, which means she won't be getting dinner tonight.
Yeah.
But also now she has to go back with only a tiny little bit of guts.
She was robbed.
But she's like, what am I going to tell her? That I was trying to
find
out her name? Like,
no.
You know, so she's like, what am I going to do? And so she starts pacing by the riverbank. And as she's walking back and forth and thinking to herself, like, oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble. This is going to be an absolute nightmare. A little crab peeks his head out of the sand on the riverbank. And he's like, hey, what's up?
No.
And she's like, hi. I just got screwed over by a bunch of river people who are fish.
Who are fish.
I don't know. Is an eel a fish? Or is it like a shark? No, sharks are fish. Eel aren't fish? Y'all can Google it on your own. It's not my problem.
You gotta go fuck yourself.
So a crab peeks his little head out of his head and is like, hey, listen, I understand you had a bad day, but it's important that you learn to trust again. If you give me that last little itty bitty bit of intestines, then I promise, cross my claws,
no,
I will tell you the witch's name.
There's nothing to throw in this. No.
And she's like, well, at this point, I literally don't have much to lose. And I don't have any other options. So she takes the last little bit of intestine and she gives it to the crab, and the crab takes it in his claw and he holds it up and he chews on it really thoughtfully. And he takes his time and he just sort of chews down this little bit of guts. And he's like, that was really good. And she's like, yeah, you're welcome anytime. So, are you gonna swim away? And he's like, oh, no, I'm gonna tell you. Oh, you really got screwed over. No, I'm gonna tell you her name. He says, the old woman's name is In the Storm, Coffin on Her Back.
Oh, yeah, I would have never found out what that name was.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In the Storm, Coffin on Her Back.
Yeah.
I-T-S, it's coffin
Cold.
on... It's Cope.
It's Cope.
Her name, it's Cope.
So her name is In the Storm, Coffin on Her Back. And I did a lot of research into this. I was like, I wonder if this is like a colloquialism or something that I don't understand. Couldn't find anything about it. But just in terms of extrapolating, In the Storm, Haiti is one of the islands in the Caribbean. So In the Storm obviously would be like bad luck or like tormented by something, or else kind of foolish, like being out in the storm for no reason.
Sure.
Coffin on Her Back could be my interpretation based on the research that I did, which came up with basically nothing, but just a very low level understanding of like Caribbean culture. There is the tradition of like pallbearing.
Yeah.
Like you
carrying a coffin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of Caribbean culture is like, when you pass away, it's your family carries your coffin on their shoulders to your grave. Yeah. And so it could be that she has to carry her own coffin on her back, metaphorically, in that like family. She has nobody there for her. No one will come to her funeral because she's
that makes sense.
An asshole.
Yeah. Or
it could be there's an Irish folktale that I looked up, which is not related in any way. I couldn't find any connection except that it references a woman who had to carry her mother passed away, and her mother's last wish was to be buried back in her hometown. And so her daughter had to carry her mother's coffin on her back to her hometown to bury her.
Her buff daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could also be a reference to like carrying her family's past on her back, kind of being like, a descendant of the people of her family.
I think it makes more sense In the Storm paired with coffin on her back. I feel like it makes more sense that she's just unpleasant.
Yeah, I think so. I think that that's what it is.
Yeah. That's a cool little interpretation of that, though. That's awesome. Yeah.
I tried really, really, really hard to figure out what this was, and believe it or not, a story called The Name is really hard to research. But yeah, so that's my interpretation. Again, not based in scientific fact whatsoever. Okay. But so the crab tells the little girl the old woman's name is In the Storm, Coffin on Her Back. And he says, now, I'm happy to have told you that, but please don't tell her that I told you. She's going to ask you. You don't have to tell her. There's nothing in the rules that says a dog can't play baseball. You don't have to tell her. So the girl's like, of course, I won't. I'm no snitch.
Me? Tell her anything?
Never.
Okay, but we know she's an idiot, so she might accidentally tell. That's my prediction.
I don't know.
She's an idiot. She got fooled 3 times by 3 little fish people.
So the girl goes back to the old woman's house, empty-handed, and the old woman is already sitting at her dinner table with a napkin tied cartoonishly around her neck, and she's holding a fork in one hand and a knife in the other hand, and just licking her chops, probably, I assume. And the girl comes back in, and she's like, great, now I can eat. And the girl is like, oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely, definitely. And the old woman is like, and don't forget, the rule is, if you can tell me my name, then you also get to eat.
It's Rebecca Goldstein. MD.
MD.
I decided to give her a title.
And the girl says, I know your name. And the old woman says, who told you? And the girl says, I know your name. And the old woman says, okay, what is it? Tell me. I dare you. And the girl says, In the Storm, Coffin on Her Back. And the old woman is like, oh, cool. That is my name. Sick. Rad. And she gets up from the table and she grabs a machete off of the wall and she takes her machete and stomps down to the river.
No!
Meanwhile, the girl sits down and eats all of the other food that the witch had prepared for herself.
Delicious.
Yeah, and it's great.
Wait, she gets one meal? That's not a good deal. She should have said, if I get your name, I get to go home.
She doesn't make the rules.
Okay, you're right.
If she did, there would be a rule that says a dog can't play baseball, because that seems like the first rule you would make.
It's not a rule.
So the old woman takes her machete, goes down to the river, and she says, hey, all you fucks in the river.
Oh, fuck.
And the eel and the shrimp and the fish all swim up to the riverbank, and she's like, hey, eel.
Oh, man.
Did you tell that little girl my name? And the eel's like, no. I didn't. I would never. That would be crazy. I would never do that. I would never do that to you. Like, look at me. Come on. Trust me. Come on.
I'm just a guy.
I'm just a little guy. It's my birthday.
It's my birthday.
And she's like, all right, I believe you. Shrimp, did you tell her my name?
No. Not me.
Is it weird if I did?
It's him hawing.
Yeah. And so she's like, all right, I can tell you didn't do it. Fish, you're looking pretty sketchy. And the fish is like, that's profiling. This is a really short story, so I'm having to vamp a lot.
You're hem-hawing like that shrimp.
Yeah, I'm having to vamp a lot because it's very short, but it's very good.
Mine is very long, so it's okay.
Perfect. She goes up to the fish, and she's like, did you tell the little girl my name? And the fish is like, I would never do that to you. I'm in love with you. And she's like, what? We'll come back to that later. That doesn't happen in the story. Again, I'm riffing.
That bitch wants to be Mr. Rebecca Goldstein, MD, so bad.
So the old woman starts stomping around the riverbank. She's like, well, if the three of you didn't do it, then who the hell told this little girl my name? And she's stomping around and stomping. And then she hears a crunch under her foot.
No!
And she picks it up, and don't worry, the crab is okay.
Oh my god. He was just eating peanuts real loud.
Yeah, popcorn. He was like, this is hilarious. And she takes the crab out from under her foot, and she's like, crab, you son of a bitch. I know it was you. And I'm just going to read this real quick here. The woman says, are you the one who told the little girl my name? And the crab says, yes, old woman, it was me.
Waha! And I do it again, too.
And the crab starts backing into the river, like into the water. And the old woman's like, wait, come back here. You told her my name?
Max did a move like she was moonwalking back into a lake.
That is 100% what you should imagine. That is very much the vibe of this.
Back into a river.
Yeah, the crab is like, I did it, bitch. What you gonna do? Just like
neither of us know the song that he moonwalks into.
I don't know how to moonwalk either. But so the crab moonwalks back into the river, and the old woman is chasing him with her machete into the river, and she's like, you did, didn't you? You did tell her my name. And the crab is like, I already said that I did, and I do it again.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And then he puts his two crab claws up like he's flipping her off, and he continues to moonwalk back into the river.
100%. Cool. And so she keeps following him further and further into the river. And she's like, come back here. I'm going to punish you for what you did. And he's like, only if you can catch me. He's like swimming backwards. And finally, the witch is close to catching up with him. And then she slips on a rock at the bottom of the river. And she falls into the river and cracks her head. And she never surfaces again.
Oh.
And
that fish, that eel, and that shrimp eat her brains. Even though they don't deserve it.
Yes, old woman, it was me. And the crab ate her up, name and all.
Oh, I wonder if he shared with those little liars.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Name and all.
Ooh. I was like, this story's really short. I'm not sure if I want to tell it, but the line, he ate her up, name and all.
No one will remember her?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's hard as shit.
That's really cool.
Yeah, this crab is unbelievably metal.
Yeah, he's kind of hot.
Yeah. Just fully did the, like, Olenna Tyrell, like, tell the witch.
I want her to know it was me. Yeah.
And then, like, moonwalks backwards into a river canonically in the story.
Yeah, this is an impossibly cool and hot crab.
Yeah. He ate her up, name and all. Also, that crab ate a whole person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Should I call him?
You know what? I like a man who can eat.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know. That was super cool.
Thanks.
I like that.
So I was trying to do some research because I was like, this is a fucking weird story. I'm really into it, but there's a lot going on here. And I had a really hard time for obvious reasons. This is the only version of this story that includes the term "in the storm, coffin on her back." But there are other versions from elsewhere in the Caribbean. Some of them have like different kind of purposes. Mm-hmm. So there's one, I found these through Sharon Barkin Elswit's The Caribbean Story Finder, which is like a comparative review of Caribbean folktales, like different from the different islands and how they change over time. So I've linked there's one page available on Google Books for free that you can look over, and it's this page, which is great for me because I was going crazy trying to research this. This story is sometimes also called Madame Crab Loses Her Head. And in that, the witch's name is Amboishinan, which is literally translates to Chinese wood in French, but it means like a bitter bark, which is like, oh, she's bitter and nasty and nobody wants her. Bitter like the old woman. The woman at the end of the story kills the crab when he confesses. And the crab's last words, once again, still a badass fucking crab, is, "You are still alone with your temper and bad manners."
And her slave, who can never leave.
Yeah, definitely not as badass, but still pretty hard.
That is a pretty hard thing to say.
And that story comes from Trinidad.
Yeah.
In Jamaica, there are a couple of different versions of this story. There is an Anansi story, Anansi and the Crab, which has a similar plot, basically. There's also Grandy Doando, where instead of a crab, it's a bull. And so the girl goes to the bull tells her the witch's name, and then the witch goes to get vengeance on the bull, and then the witch and the bull throw each other in the air, like they take turns tossing each other.
Yeah, they do.
until the witch is dead.
Oh. Yep. Well, you know what? It's how she would have wanted to go.
That's how I want to go, man.
Yeah. Tossed around by a bull.
Ooh, cut that.
Let me get in those guts!
No, cut it. Please don't put that online. There's also a story called Why Toad Walks on Four Legs. And it's the same kind of story plot where the king is about to marry an Obeah woman, which is like a sort of like a wise woman. And the toad is like, well, I know something the king doesn't know. And he dresses up super fancy and he walks up on two legs to the king and is like, "Hey, what's up? I'm going to tell you her name." And then he does, and then the king is like, "Well, I'm not going to marry." I didn't read the story.
Well, I'm not
going to
marry her now. She's got a stupid name.
I only read like a 2-sentence summary of this, but
her name is Charles Mantha after both of her parents. That's a dumb name. I can't marry her. It's an Esme situation.
It's worse.
Charles Mantha?
No, it's worse.
Okay,
I'm gonna take a crack at this. It might take a couple tries though. Rakunda Dunda Drummonday.
Ooh,
her name is
some rhythm.
Yeah, Rakunda Dunda Drummonday.
Yeah, I like that name. He doesn't like that.
I don't know.
Shorten it. Call her Raki. Call her Raki.
Raki?
Rakunda. Rakunda Dunda Drummonday.
Yeah,
I love that name.
Right?
That king doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. So the witch goes to the toad, and it curses him to no longer be able to dress up fancy and walk on two legs, and that's why Frog walks on four legs.
Fucking mind your business.
Toad.
You toad.
Not toad. Frog. No, toad. It's a toad.
Frog.
Please, nobody get mad at me about the differences between frogs and toads. I know. I just had too much caffeine today.
This is literally only a Max. You're the only one that cares about this.
I know. I just don't want people to think I'm someone who doesn't know the difference between frogs and toads.
Max thinks that a frog and or a toad is going to listen to this podcast and get mad at her.
Please, I respect your differences.
Frog and toad, you're a beautiful couple.
God, I love frog and toad.
I know.
I do. And frogs and toads.
Frogs and toads.
That's 3 facts about me. I love frog and toad, and I love frogs, and I love toads. Rakunda Dunda Drummonday.
Rakunda Dunda Drummonday. I really like saying that.
Right?
She's crazy to not love that name. Also, can you imagine hating your name so much that you're willing to curse a toad? Okay. I'm
trying
thinking about it. No. Well, Max, excellent job.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
Okay. Goodbye. Okay, Max.
Janey.
Max.
Janey. Janey!
Max!
Janey.
Oh, okay. So, for Christmas, Max gave me the box set of Andrew Lang's fairy tale books, his fairy tale books of many colors. And we've talked about this before. We've talked about Andrew Lang before. Reading this introduction made me like him more, not gonna lie. We've also talked about how much we are disappointed in Andrew Lang. Do you want to tell them why?
I do, and I also want to brag about this really cool present that I got you.
Do it.
So, Andrew Lang's Fairy Books of Many Colors, there are a bunch of them. I think there's like 13 of them. And they've never really been produced in print since their first printing. There was the Folio Society, which does like luxury bookbinding, produced full set of fairy books a couple of years ago. And the full set goes for $12,000. $12,000. So I was like, so we'll never have that. And like, I guess all of these are public domain, so we can just look them up online. But I mean, when I'm looking for stories, my first thought is always to go for the books in our collection. So I was looking for this, and I was thinking about what to get Janey for Christmas. And I found there was a run of 4 of the Fairy Books of Many Colors that was produced back in like the 80s, 70s. And most of the copies are like very, very old and like $400 of the
Just
like box set collections.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, if there are even 2, it's really expensive. And I found someone listed a collection of all 4 for like $40. And I was like, fuck yeah.
And it's really cool.
It's
from 1965. There's some wear and tear, which I personally like because it shows that somebody really liked it on their shelves. But like, they're in really good condition. Like, I wasn't expecting for this. I was expecting this book to fall apart when I opened it, and it doesn't. It's great.
Nice. Hell yeah. But Andrew Lang, the reason why we have problems with him, on the one hand, it's great that he collected stories from all over the world. He did, a lot of work. These folktales might have otherwise been lost because they weren't put in print, and, print is king, kind of. But at the same time, Andrew Lang's wife was an accomplished translator and writer, and she did all the work. And then he put his name on it, basically.
Okay, so he mentions this actually in his introduction,
That's
which
good.
is why I first of all, he thought that this was going to be the last of his many colored books. So in his introductions, he says, this is the third and probably the last of the fairy books of many colors. And then he had to write 10 more.
Yeah.
And he was like, you guys just keep asking for them, so here you go. But this is the last one, okay? And then he had to keep writing them.
For real this time.
For real! And it's a really nice little letter. Usually in the introductions I get bored, and then I have to force myself to read them. This one was the easy one to read. And he gives shout-outs, of course, to the Brothers Grimm. This particular book...
Yo, shout out to the Brothers Grimm.
Hey, you know what? Just really quickly.
First to do it, best to do it, probably.
I would just like
That's not historically accurate.
My mom, my dad, Brothers Grimm, the only ones. No. So in this book, it seems like it's mostly French stories, and mostly by an author named the Count of Caylus, and then also a woman named Madame d'Aulnoy. Who knows? But so he gives some shout outs to where they got this. Like, the Brothers Grimm did like take these and adapt a lot of these, but he was like, I'm going to give them a shout out, but I'm also going to say like they took theirs from this, and then I took mine from that as well, which is nice. And the last thing he says, this kind of made me, I was like, huh. He's, after thanking everyone, he says, to Mr. Ford, who drew the pictures, and to the ladies, Miss Blackley, Miss Alma Aline, Miss Eleanor Seller, Miss May Seller, Miss Wright, and Mrs. Lang, who translated many of the tales out of French, German, and other languages. So she wasn't the only one that did this. And actually, as I was looking this up, she is one of his main translators. But now that I'm like doing more research into Andrew Lang, it seems like her it's the same way that when I did, the Syrian folktales, how she was like, these are my translators, and then here's my process for taking them and editing them. So it seems like he used a bunch of different translators, and then he edited them down to be palatable, and he put them in. And then I also realized we've been acting like he was pretending he was writing these, but all of the books say it was edited by Andrew Lang, and he makes a point to be like, these are the real authors, but they were all in French, and so we did that. So that's why he gets the credit for that. So I'm back on board with Andrew Lang.
Andrew Lang redemption arc. All right.
You know what? Andrew Lang redemption arc. Thank you for giving me... And also, these are very fun to read. Every single one of these are a fucking knockout. So he did a good job.
Yeah.
Editing them.
Editing.
I edited it. So the story I'm going to be telling you today is Prince Narcissus and the Princess Potentilla.
Pretty good.
All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Once upon a time, there was a king and a queen who were the tiniest bit self-absorbed. They were kind of bad
No.
at everything.
You don't say.
No. They were. The king loved hunting, and basically only hunting, and hated everything else, including his wife, I'm guessing. And he also made a big show of, like, folding and unfolding state documents to be like, yes, oh, yes,
so good
I'm
at
doing
folding.
work. Here I go. I opened it and I closed it. And then he goes hunting. That's the only thing he likes.
Get you a man who can do both.
Also, they mentioned at the very beginning, they're like, and I think most people will find this relatable, they didn't do their work at all, and they only liked the things they liked. That is relatable.
Mm-hmm.
The
Must be
queen
nice.
loved to party. Yeah. And she spent a lot of money and a ton of resources making sure she was always entertained. She was also extremely beautiful, but the story would like you to know that she was more beautiful when she was younger, and now she, like, is trying to pretend like she's just as beautiful as she was back then. And since she's very rich, she has people around that are basically paid to be like, no, you look better than ever. No, you're beautiful. Wow, so gorgeous. You're even better now than you were when you were very young. Anyway, one day the queen gave birth to a daughter, and that was a real bummer for her because the daughter was gorgeous. And by the time she was 4 years old, the queen knew that she was going to be even more beautiful than her mother. So she hid her away. Classic queen shit. She had a special little house built for the girl beyond the palace gardens, and she moved her child there along with her mute, and the story calls her dumb, nurse into it, but that's a very outdated term. But every time I see it, my brain is like, rude.
Isn't...
Dumb means that you're mute.
Yeah.
Like deaf and dumb, yeah. So I just have to let you know, they say her dumb nurse into it, and every time I'm like, rearrange your brain. The queen and the
Get
king...
gully washed, nurse.
Get gully washed, you fucking idiot. So the king and the queen told everyone that they had to get rid of their daughter, because they were like, what happened to your child? And they were like, oh man, we had to get rid of her. She was so ugly and stupid and unlovable. And I'm not paraphrasing. This is the quote. The princess was so ugly and so troublesome and so impossible to love that to keep her out of sight was the only thing that could be done for her.
Holy shit. The kingdom's entire treasury is going towards paying for this kid's therapy bills.
Not at all. So the princess stayed like this, no questions asked, until she was about 15 years old. And then, even though she's isolated and protected by guards, there's been a bunch of rumors about how terrible she is, she somehow finds love. And I'm single, over here, and fucking out in the open. Anyway, that's shitty. And I hope this kid dies.
Hey.
Anyway, so a young man...
I'm noticing some parallels between you and one of the characters in this story.
Well, I love to hunt. and I love to fold paper. So a young man, not much older than Princess Potentilla, came to visit this kingdom. By the way, Potentilla is like a type of rose. It's like a Latin word for a type of rose.
I was,
Potent?
I don't know why, but, I do know why. My brain went Hurricane Tortilla from The Vine.
No.
Sure. A kid is in a pantry and a bag of tortilla chips falls on him and he goes, Hurricane Tortilla. And then we went to Free Shavakadu. So her name's Princess Free Shavakadu now. I'm really sorry. My brain is rotten.
Sure.
Full of maggots.
Okay. So this prince's name was Prince Narcissus, which is another type of flower. Threw me off, but that's the name.
Also, Narcissus from the Greek myth. Are you gonna...
Has nothing to do with this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why it threw me off, because I thought for sure it was going to be this. It's literally only the flower. Also, this is adapted from a French story called La Princesse Pimpinella et le Prince Romarin. And I think that those are the French translations of Narcissus and Potentilla. Wasn't that beautiful French? Do you think they're all turned on and they want to be my boyfriend now? Okay, so a young man not much older than Princess Potentilla comes to visit the kingdom. His name is Prince Narcissus. His royal parents had died. They got squished. And his oldest brother had inherited the kingdom. But as the youngest, he had inherited a fairy named Melinette. And the fairy was extremely powerful, and she really loved Narcissus. Okay. What?
I was going to ask Fairy or Ferry.
Nope, a fairy. So she loves Narcissus a ton, and she does her best to help raise him to be kind and thoughtful. She wanted him to be like, she didn't want him to want for or fear anything, but she wanted him to be very respectful of others. And she also gave him a lot of like fairy wisdom all the time. And she also gave him a magic ring that when you put it on, you turn invisible.
Oh my god.
And then, hold on. This is a quote.
I'm sorry. She was like, you'll never have to want for anything. Here's a ring that can make you invisible.
Go steal. Go steal stuff.
Go steal.
So this is the quote, which I love. It says, quote, "These rings seem to be quite common. You must often have heard of them, even if you've never seen one."
I mean, you wouldn't have seen one, right? That's the whole point.
Who knows?
Wow.
Okay. So Narcissus comes, and he has the best time partying with the royals, but the rumors of this ugly, unlovable trash monster is, like, really compelling. And so he's like, I gotta find out where this piece of shit lives. I gotta go gawk at it.
We're going dumpster diving tonight, boys.
Woo! And so he puts the precious ring on his finger, and he sneaks past the guards, and then he climbs the wall, which took an embarrassing amount of effort that the story thought was important to say that he didn't just, like, leap over the wall. He's embarrassed and invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And he falls into the beautiful garden where Potentilla lives. Potentilla. It's hard to say.
It is.
And he, like, falls in, and he, like, brushes himself off, and he's looking around like, oh, I hope nobody saw... Wait. Never mind. Everything's good. And then he immediately realizes, like, wow, this is, like, the prettiest garden I've ever been in. Like, he's really charmed by how gorgeous this garden is. And then he catches sight of the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. She's slender and fair, and, like, every single princess in this book has long blonde hair. I'm not joking. I got so bored of these long blonde-haired princesses. Every story has the exact same princess in it. And I know I shouldn't still be, amazed by that or, like, surprised by that, but good lord, it's boring.
My kingdom for a princess who is a brunette with a mullet.
Yeah, just like a little mullet princess.
Yeah.
Give me a real trash goblin.
Someone
You
me
won't.
A mullet princess, please.
Oh, the mullet princess would be a really good book.
Yeah.
Okay. So, written by what's her name?
Sure. And also, it's all about her trying to lead a double life where she has business in the front and party in the back.
Yeah, something that this girl's queen mother needs to figure out how to do business in the front. She does no business. Her mom's name is Frivola.
Like frivolous?
Yeah, her mom's
Doesn't
name is
seem
Queen
very frivolous.
Frivola.
I guess she did frivolously throw her daughter away.
Well, and she also has, like, she's frivolous with her mother. With her money, not with her mother. Okay, so he sees this beautiful woman, and she's sitting by a stream, and she's weaving a garland of forget-me-nots. And birds and small animals follow her around everywhere, and they're just sitting next to her, like, staring at her lovingly, and, like, singing to her, because she's, like, a full-on Disney princess. And so eventually Narcissus leaves, but he's thinking about her all the time, and he can't help himself, so he goes back over the wall, and he starts bringing her little gifts, and just, like, leaving them around, and she's a 15-year-old who's never been out of this thing in, like, years and years, so she's like, ooh, present! And then the next day she's like, ooh, present! What is this? Woo! Like,
I have been a good girl.
She's delighted. It's like her own personal little treasure hunt, right? And so she's just, like, having the best time. She's like, I don't know what's happening, but this is sick.
Now that you put it like that, I am interested.
Yeah, she's like, is this a Switch?
Is this...
Like a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like a PlayStation.
You know, like a Game Boy.
Was an old school Tamagotchi? Wow, I killed my
Is
pet
this some
immediately.
kind of Mario?
Now I have to throw it away. Some kind of Mario. Oh no! Is that the episode title? It's like, let me
Gobble these guts. Is this some kind of Mario?
We just found it.
Yep.
We found it. Sometimes it
Wow.
comes to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Narcissus really wants to talk to her, but he doesn't want to, like, startle her by jumping out suddenly, like, not being invisible anymore. So he asks Melinette the fairy to ease his way in by sending Potentilla sweet dreams of him so that she would recognize his face. And Melinette, I think, does this a little too well and a little bit too enthusiastically. It says that in her dreams, quote, a certain Prince Narcissus was such a delightful lover and companion. I'm like, Melinette! Fucking, you stop that. These are real children. Not your weird little Wattpad fan fiction. I just imagined, what would I do if I could send anybody dreams where I'm a delightful lover and companion? I would ruin people's lives.
Literally, my first thought was, I was like, I'm going to go to someone who I hate, and I'm going to send them a dream that they're biting into a delicious bagel, but then they bite into it, and the inside is spaghetti. And that's the worst thing I can think of. My brain was like, wouldn't it be awful? Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of weird.
I really like the idea of Prince Narcissus telling Melinette, like, hey, can you quickly send nudes? And then she sends dreams of him naked. That's a really fun way to send nudes. Innovative.
And then Melinette is in the dream like,
Okay, so eventually, still invisible, he begins to talk to Potentilla, and this works. She's like, wow, it's you. Probably from my dreams, right? Where are you? And he's like, don't worry about it. And they chat for hours. Like, he keeps himself invisible, but she sits there and talks to him for hours and hours and hours, and they kind of pass, like, a lot of time together getting to know each other. And so one day she's like, can you please show me what you look like? Like, I really want to know. I really want to know if you're like matching the really buff dream version of you that keeps showing up naked with a huge hog.
I just want to see, do you really always dress in no shirt and overalls with a greasy pair of gloves in the pocket and like a hammer hanging jauntily off of your, or no? Is that no?
Or is that just a Melinette thing?
Are you a hot construction worker or no?
Melinette has it's giving me a lot of fantasies of you building a bookshelf for me.
Ugh. What is her name?
Melinette.
No.
Potentilla.
No.
Oh, you're thinking of Nora Roberts.
Thank you.
Nora Roberts, the romance novelist. Max and I became obsessed with her because we read an interview with her where we found out that she got divorced and had, like, little kids and then started writing as a single mom, like, at night, and then became Nora Roberts, and then got remarried to a carpenter who one day came to her house to build her bookshelves. Yeah, and she married that hot carpenter. She was already a romance novelist at that point.
Yeah,
she like, manifested.
I am already a successful romance novelist. Now I need to find a place to put all of my hundreds of pages long, hyper successful romance novels. Guess I need a bigger bookshelf. I'm going to call a carpenter. Probably going to be normal. And then just the hottest man she's ever seen shows up and lovingly builds her a bookshelf.
And they fall in love.
And that's
one of her books come to life. Like, did she sell her soul?
Good for her. Good for her.
Or good for Satan. Because she sold her soul. Mm-hmm. Also, somebody stole from Nora Roberts.
Like, stole her work.
Yeah, like, took her IP, and she told them, like, listen, you can run all you want, but I am going to find you, and when I do, I am going to stamp you back into the muck you came from. Like, yeah. It was hard as shit.
Yeah, she compared plagiarists to something like pale little worms wriggling in the dirt beneath a rock, and I will lift the rock and smash you with it. Like, it was so fucking
this was
wild.
All in the same article. I'm gonna find that article. I'll link it in the show notes.
Yes, please.
It's fucking
Any excuse
great
to talk about
also,
this.
The interview was set in an Irish castle. What the fuck? Okay,
that she lives in, right?
No, that she was doing an interview in.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway. Also, guys, just go read the Chesapeake Bay series. Okay, and the Magic Key series. Everybody, let's do the Magic Key series as a book club. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway. So she's like, please, show me what you look like. Show me the real you. Take off that ring. And he's like, oh, I will. But you have to promise me that you won't be turned off by how I look. That you won't think that I'm, like, stupid and ugly. Okay? That you're still gonna love me once you see my stupid face. And she's like, okay. And he takes off his ring and he's, like, super hot. And she's like, oh. Which reminds me of, like, a Larry Hemsworth situation, you know? That, like, in The Good Place, the guy that's, like, super hot. And he's like, oh, I'm not as good as my brothers.
Yeah.
Anyway, he straight up is like, okay, but don't be turned off when you see my face. And he takes it off and she's like, what the fuck? You're so
I will
hot.
never be turned off again.
Literally, sploosh. And so she's like, this is a relief. You made yourself seem like a frogman. But they ended up passing the summer happy and in love. And Potentilla couldn't possibly imagine things would ever go terribly, terribly wrong.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Enter Grumadon. Dun, dun.
One more time. Can you throw that at me again?
Enter Grumadon.
Sounds like a Godzilla villain.
He basically is.
It's okay. Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah,
Grumadon. So Grumadon was an evil enchanter who was, like, flying over one day and spotted Potentilla from afar. And immediately he's like, oh, I'm gonna marry her. Try really hard not to love Grumadon, okay? Just try your best.
You just have to keep calling him Grumadon.
Grumadon! He crash lands in her garden, clumsy and gross, and he startles her so much that, like, she screams out in terror, but he assumes, because he thinks really highly of himself, that she's screaming in delight, and so he, like, gives her time to, like, clap. He's like,
hooray!
He bows, and he says, oh, please, no need to cheer. It is I, Grimadon the Magnificent! And she's like, what the fuck is happening? This is a description of him. Quote, he was very big and clumsy. Then he had but one eye, and his teeth were long, and he stammered badly. Nevertheless, he had an excellent opinion of himself. Grimadon.
None of those things are necessarily
not
bad.
a deal breaker for me.
No.
So he pauses to let her admire him, and then he gives her, like, this huge speech that I think is supposed to be complimentary, but, like, isn't good, but they don't give us the speech. They're just like,
Ugh.
he thought that it was a great speech. Just so you know. And the princess responds with, where is Narcissus? Where's my real boyfriend? And she says, where's Narcissus? And he misunderstands her and thinks that she's asking for the flower Narcissus. And he's like, oh, I can do that. And he snaps his fingers, and she is, like, smushed underneath a huge fucking wall of Narcissus flowers. Like in that one painting where the people are drowning in rose petals. That's based off of a real event.
I don't know that.
Oh, fuck. I have to look this up just so you could see it. There's a very famous painting based off of a real event.
It's not that famous.
It is. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding. The last thing I looked up on my thing was painting of women throwing a man in a well. Anyway,
Yeah. Painting
of people drowning in roses. Okay, it's the roses of Heliogabalus. And this guy's a real guy.
Heliogrumadon.
Heliogrumadon. It's the roses of Heliogabalus, and he's a real man who was, like, really decadent and would throw these giant parties and also was a serial killer, basically. And one day he had roses fall from his ceilings, and it literally drowned his guests. They ended up suffocating. It's a beautiful painting.
Is it fucked up to say that I love that?
No,
I don't love that people died, but that's...
I want this painting. We're going to put it in here. It's a painting by Anglo-Dutch artist Sir Lawrence Alma Tadema. But he dropped all the roses and everybody died at his party, and he and his guests that were at the front just watched them die, and they were like, well, that's decadent, and they continued the party after everybody had suffocated to death.
That's, we are in January, and I am already dreading my spring allergies, and that's what it feels like.
They also might be, like, our first record of a trans person, I don't know how to do it, but, like, they talk a lot about how Heliogabalus would, like, dress up in women's clothing and make people refer to them as, like, a woman and stuff like that, but it's unclear right now for me if that's, like, how accurate that is, but a lot of people consider Heliogabalus one of the first trans emperors, which sucks because they're super evil.
But also incredibly stylish.
Very stylish. Listen, they did everything with flair. Okay, those roses are beautiful.
If you're gonna do something, do it with flair.
Do it
and I respect
with roses.
That. I don't respect murderers, but I do respect flair.
Yeah, we're going on so many tangents in the story. I'm gonna try to push forward, but also Heliogabalus, insane. So he basically does this to her. Grimadon is like, here you go, Narcissus, and then almost drowns her to death in Narcissus flowers. And as she's like, ah, screaming and trying to, like, find her way out, he's on the outside going, ah, yes, they are beautiful, aren't they? I can tell you're pretty happy with me, and I'm pretty impressive. And he's out in the back just, like, talking about how great he is, and she's dying. So Melinette, the fairy, is like, ooh, this guy could be trouble, because I know this guy. This guy actually causes a lot of problems, and the whole fairy court keeps trying to, like, imprison him and teach him lessons, and he doesn't ever stay where he's put. He keeps getting out of his magical imprisonments and then showing up to, like, cause trouble elsewhere.
Oh, what a scamp.
Yeah. So Melinette is worried about Narcissus. She's like, okay, I know this guy. He could be in real danger if this guy considers Narcissus to be a threat. And so she goes up to Potentilla in her ear and disguising her voice to sound like Narcissus, she's like, hey, I love you. You're very hot, blah, blah, blah. Really quick, don't tell Grimadon about me. You need to lie and say that you just need to lie. You need to be really careful here. I'm going to find out a way to help you get out of this, but also we need to do this carefully. So you need to pretend I don't exist. And so Potentilla eventually is like, hey, she, like, waves her hand up and is like, please get rid of all these flowers. And he snaps his fingers and Grimadon gets rid of them. And he's like, did you love those? And she's like, no, I didn't love that. I hated that. I don't like those flowers, and I don't like that many of them. And he's like, okay. And then he goes, but it's pretty cool that when you asked me to get rid of them, I did, right? And then he grabs her hand, and he's like, maybe I deserve a little kiss. And at this point, Melinette's like, all right, that's enough. And she appears angry and glowing, and she's like, Grimadon, back the hell off! And he's like, hello, Melinette, a long time no see. And Melinette's like, Potentilla is under my protection. She's like, I can't go stop you from wooing her the normal way. Like, you can court her in the normal, respectful fashion, but if you don't treat her with respect, then I'm gonna lock you up for 1,000 years to teach you a lesson, all right? And he's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm very respectful. And she's like, let go of her hand. And he's like, okay. And he drops her hand. So Melinette is like, cool, I feel like Potentilla's not in any immediate danger right now. And so she flies off to tell Prince Narcissus everything that's happening. And she tells him that Grimadon is pretty infamous in the fairy realm. He's constantly breaking laws, and he gets punished by the fairy queen, who I think is Melinette, but they never call her that. But I think she's the fairy queen. Mm-hmm. Once he had been imprisoned in a tree, and he was only released when a strong wind knocked it over. And he's like, ha-ha, Grimadon has emerged! And then he runs off and causes more trouble. And so then they trapped him under a rock in the river, but it got kicked over somehow. I'm imagining like some duck was swimming by and accidentally knocked over a rock with this little flipper.
Oh, that witch was chasing a crab.
Oh my god, that was what happened. And they released Grimadon, and he's like, no one can trap Grimadon! And so neither of these methods of imprisonment worked, because it's almost like incarceration without any method of rehabilitation doesn't actually work to make people better.
Oh, ooh,
they
spicy.
knew Narcissus couldn't face Grimadon directly. And I love a man who knows his limits, right? Mm-hmm. So instead, they were like, okay, why don't we work on just solidifying your place in Potentilla's heart, which they didn't need to do. She already loved him, and she clearly didn't love Grimadon. But whatever. So first, they were like, let's just do a bunch of nice things for Potentilla instead. So first, the prince...
like Potentilla's getting the good end of this deal here.
She really is. Listen to this. So the prince makes friends with all of the birds in Potentilla's garden and teaches them to sing her name with sweet little trills and like touching melodies. And all day long, they just sing about how much she's loved by the prince and how pretty she is. And she's like, that's nice. This is everybody likes to be complimented. And Grimadon sees this and laughs. And he's like, birds literally are only here to sing. They sing all the damn time. Honestly, getting the birds to shut up is the bigger issue. Like, come on. That's not impressive. So he says, I'm going to counter this. I'm going to write you an opera, girl. You're going to get a whole opera written by me. That's new. That's exciting. That's unique. And so he presents this opera to her, and the performance lasted for 5 hours. And it only consisted of one verse that was sung over and over again for 5 hours. And the verse was, Admirable Potentilla, do you think it kind or wise in this sudden way to kill a poor enchanter with your eyes?
Do you think that's wise?
To kill an enchanter with your eyes? And so worse still, because at first Potentilla was like, this is kind of hilarious. And then it lasts for 5 hours with just that verse. And she's like in tears because she's so bored.
Grimadon is that guy at a party who brought a guitar and just starts singing like, yeah, I'm just gonna, if you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna be over here like riffing for a little while.
Oh my god.
I mean, you don't have to listen, but like, I'm just gonna be here.
Everybody just needs to leave. So worse still, this opera was chanted by 10,000 frogs.
That sounds great.
Okay, you're gonna hate Grimadon after this, so I just need you to hold on to the 10,000 frogs. They swarm the god. He does everything in excess. Like, 10,000 is too many frogs. Also, you know how during the summertime here in Savannah, the frogs get so loud that you can hear them no matter where you are in your house?
Yes, and that's one of my favorite things about Savannah.
It's so loud. But imagine 10,000 of them just outside of your home, all stacked on top of each other, being like,
perfect.
Do you think it's wise?
Honestly, that if that was a setting available on a white noise machine, that's what I would want. I just want...
Okay. So, during the first couple times the verse was chanted, of course she thought it was kind of funny, but she would have lost her mind literally if it hadn't been for Narcissus, who's invisible, and like sitting next to her and like whispering in her ear and distracting her, and she's like, oh my god, thank god, there's something else to focus on, because this is terrible. Also, Grimadon didn't notice that she wasn't paying attention, because he was whipping the frogs into shape, and a bunch of them died because he didn't let them take any breaks. Uh-oh. She's battling her deep sexual desire for Grimadon with her love of frogs.
No, I'm trying to figure out how vehemently I can threaten the life of a fictional person on a recorded podcast.
We'll think about it as we keep going. The prince's next moves was to have a fleet of boats, just like those of Cleopatra. And the story is like, yes, those boats. He had him come up the little river next to Potentilla's house. And when it reached the princess, Cleopatra herself stepped off the boat and said, wow, you're so much prettier than I was. Oh my God, look at your hair. Love your top.
Wait, is Cleopatra dead in this story time? Is this the ghost? Is this a ghost ship? What are you telling me?
Yes, that Cleopatra.
Oh.
And she's like, well, you're so much prettier than me. Be sure to use that beauty wisely. And then she gave her a pearl necklace. And the story says, oh, yes, that pearl necklace. And then leaves. I don't know that much about Cleopatra, but apparently she had a pearl necklace that was very famed. So Grumadon sees this pearl necklace later, and he's like, you want pearls? I'll give you pearls. So he gives her 2 pearls. I'm just kidding. He does everything in excess. He literally blows a whistle and the whole river starts to churn and just becomes like muddy and like just insane. All these fish are like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then hundreds of thousands of oysters crawl up onto the surface, and start to just spit out pearls.
Kill us!
Blah, blah, blah. And there's enough pearls that they can pave every path in her garden, and then there would still be too much left over. She's like, thank you. What am I gonna do with it? It's just like hundreds of thousands of pearls.
That sounds really pretty.
I know. So the prince then gave her a beautiful arbor with leafy branches, moss and grass on the floor. There are garlands everywhere. And he has this tiny little banquet prepared, and hidden musicians are playing soft music. And when they stop their playing, a nightingale sings out like a beautiful note, and this nightingale starts to sing a song. And this nightingale is her favorite of all of the birds.
Aww.
And this is my favorite. She says, Philomel, my sweet one, who taught you that new song? And it answered, love, my princess.
Oh.
And then she ran away with a nightingale.
I mean.
So the enchanter sees this. He still doesn't see the prince, right? He doesn't know the prince is behind this. In fact, I think he thinks Melinette is behind all this. And so he's trying to outdo Melinette. But he sees this and he says, this is terrible. These birds obviously don't know good music. And there isn't enough food. What is happening? And so the next day, the princess comes outside to see a giant gold summer house decorated in and out with her and the enchanter's initials combined, like a fucking bathroom stall, like a middle school.
Ugh.
And the tables in this hall are lined with so much food and like plates and goblets and candles and cutlery. It was almost impossible to take it all in. She's like, oh no. And then it says, quote, the enchanter ate like 6 ogres. When I first read this, I had to read it like 6 times because I kept reading it. He ate like 6 ogres.
Yeah, that's the importance of punctuation.
100%.
He ate, comma, like, comma, 6 ogres.
That's how I thought. Yeah. He ate like 6 ogres. But no, he ate as though he were 6 ogres.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, it took me an embarrassing long time to go back and forth with that. She ate nothing. After he had gorged himself, he said, well, obviously you like music, so I'll sing. And then he began to screech out the words to his frog opera. And she was like, no. And so none of the enchanter's tricks were working. She was trying to be polite, but he knew she wasn't happy with anything he was giving her. And he began to suspect that there must be another man, right? It can't be that she hated everything about him.
No, there's nobody who can resist smelling what he is selling.
Yeah, no. And so one day he tells her, I have to leave. I have some unexpected business. Goodbye. And she tries to be cool about it, but she's obviously super stoked that he's leaving her house. She's like, okay, goodbye forever. And after he's gone, like as soon as he turns his back, he's like, starts to walk away and she's like, Narcissus, come home. And Narcissus, of course, takes off his ring of invisibility and they embrace and they start chattering excitedly and they're like, yay, we're happy to be together at last. And then suddenly, Grumadon appears and he says, aha, I got you. And then he takes this giant club and he swings it down hard and fast on Narcissus's head.
And he dies? To death? Janey, to death?
The princess screams and falls over. And when she gets back up,
Also,
Narcissus is just gone. And Grumadon is just cheering. He's like, yeah, Grumadon, Grumadon. And she's like, what the fuck? What?
Also, why is an enchanter using a club?
Oh, he just fucking squished him. Okay. So he is cheering his own name over and over again. But he's in a very bad temper, and he tells the weeping princess that she's gonna marry him one way or another. So it'd be better if she would just go ahead and fall in love with him. Just fucking fall in love with me already. So he's like, I'm gonna go make arrangements for our wedding. It's happening. But to keep you out of trouble, I'm gonna put you in a magical sleep. And he like bops her on the head and she goes to sleep.
With his club.
He smashes her on the head. So Grumedan goes to her parents' palace. It's 7 a.m. and the king was just tying his boots so he can go hunting. And then he hears Grumedan downstairs going, where is this king? Let him be told that I, Grumedan, must see him and his wife also. And the king is like, And he starts unlacing his boots again, and he's annoyed. And Grumedan was in the front of the castle, riding on an extraordinary chariot pulled by 48 strong oxen.
That's too many.
One guy. He does everything in excess. He is the epitome of gluttony. Mm-hmm. On his knee, he's holding a tawny African lion, which he's treating as if it were a tiny little lapdog. He's just like scratching its head and it's just on his giant knee. And he jumps out of the chariot and he shoos the oxen away and they all go like bounding off like stags. So they're just like jumping and happy and just run away. And then with one blow from his giant club, the chariot turned into a pile of gold.
Oh.
Yeah. And Grumedan says,
it's a magic club.
It's a magic club. So he says, for your lackeys, that they may drink my health. And this causes pandemonium as every single servant in the castle just dives on all this gold. And Grumedan throws his head back and laughs, right? And the king's like,
shots!
What's happening? And so Queen Frivola, meanwhile, she had just fallen into her first sleep, which is relatable. It's 7 a.m. and she has just gotten down for the first time. Yeah. And she wouldn't come down to talk to Grumedan. She's a little pissed that he's there and he's being so loud. And she's like, no, I won't do it. Also, very few people see me in the daylight. I'm one of those night people. So Grumedan sends the servants to her room holding his club. And the instructions were to smell this. It'll wake you up.
Oh, she is smelling what he's selling.
She is. And it does. She comes hurrying down. She like throws some rouge on her face. Now the story is like, the club worked, or it was the fact that she touched it and then jewels just started spraying out like it was a fucking elephant trunk. So like, it's one of those two.
I was going to say, like, she smells the club and it smells like broken bones and blood and hair.
Nope, it smells like money. And so she goes down. The enchanter tells the royals that he wanted to marry their daughter, and he admits that he's only going through these pleasantries because he doesn't want to piss off the fairy Melinette. However, in reality, he's going to marry her one way or another. So, like, do they want all this gold and, like, to be his friend, or do they want him to just leave with their daughter? And they were like, can we think about it? And he's like, oh yeah, take a day or two. But let's bring her in the meantime. And so he sends the lion, who does have a name. It's Orion. Every character has a name except for the nurse.
Orion the lion.
Orion the lion! I never even catch this. Yeah, the king's name is also King Cloverleaf. Yeah, so cute names, but like almost every single character is named, which I appreciate. He says, go fetch her. And then as the lion starts to walk away, he goes, gently. And the lion's like, so he goes. He carries the princess on his back. He holds her fast by gripping her robe in his mouth. And then Potentilla is woken up and immediately starts screaming her head off because she's riding on top of a lion and she's in a place she does not recognize and she's surrounded by strangers. And the last thing she knew, she was being bopped on the head with a fucking club. And so everyone was astonished by how beautiful she is, even though she's screaming. And Queen Frivola immediately begins to fuss over her baby girl. She's like, oh my god, we gotta get you out of here. Yes, this is very overwhelming. And she throws a sheet over her head real quick and then throws her into a room and locks her away. And she makes a deal with Grumedan later on when she's alone. She calls Grumedan to her and she says, listen, if you promise not to take our kingdom and not to hurt me or the king, and also to take Potentilla far, far away and never bring her back here so that no one else can see how pretty she is, then, yeah, you can marry my daughter. And so they make a deal. They shake on it, and that's it. The wedding was set for the next day. Potentilla begs and begs her mom to be kind, to not make her marry this monster, and her mother takes pity on her and gives her two options. Marry Grumedan or drink a big cup of poison. Her choice. Things were dire. There's 24 hours to the wedding. But little did Grumedan or Potentilla know, Narcissus is not dead.
Aw.
Melinette, seeing that he was about to be smashed like a grape, had swept down lightning fast and scooped up the prince, and then she had carried him far up into her castle in the sky and was keeping him safely against his will. He had been trying to get out of the castle this entire time and eventually was just sulking at his predicament. He's like, oh man. But then, right, like at the day that the wedding was supposed to happen, Potentilla's favorite little nightingale came up and told him what was happening down below. The nightingale's like, you need to get down there. The wedding is today. And her mom keeps telling her that if she wants out of it, she has to drink poison. So, like, this is rough, dude. And so he's like, okay. And he does the only thing he hasn't tried yet. He just starts jumping out of windows. And he'll fall down, and then a cloud will catch him and then just roll him back up. Into a window in the castle, and he is just in there screaming his head off and like begging Melinette to come back and telling her like, I need to get down, and just jumping out of windows again and being rolled up like a fucking fruit roll up.
Counterpoint, in different circumstances, this would be so much fun.
So much fun. It's like being caught by a cartoon chameleon tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So down in the castle, it is indeed Potentilla's wedding day. She was led into the great hall, and everyone in attendance was stunned by her beauty, much to Frivola's annoyance. Grimmadon comes in as well, and his hair is standing on end, and he has this huge grin. And her mother smiles as well, and holds out a cup of poison as a joke to be like, wouldn't this be better? And fucking everyone gasps in surprise when Potentilla grabs it and screams, ah, beloved Narcissus, I come to thee! And she raises it to her lips. And just at that moment, the doors burst open, and in runs Narcissus and Melinette. The enchanter raised his arms to defend himself, but Melinette was too quick. She grabs him up by his eyelashes, and she hangs him up by the door, by the fucking roof, the ceiling, to teach him a lesson. And he's like kicking and like, yeah, let go of me. And she lets him hang there for a little bit. Blink, blink, blink. Then she touches him with her wand and imprisons him in a crystal ball that was hung from the roof of the castle. And this was enchanted to hold him for 1,000 years, which would hopefully be enough time for him to learn his fucking lesson.
Or die.
He won't. He's too annoying. And Narcissus and Potentilla, reunited at last, are like, hey, don't want to waste a perfectly good wedding. And they go ahead and take their places at the altar, and they're married on the spot. And Melinette, who oversaw everything, looks at the king and queen, and she's like, you know what? I think we need a change here. First of all, you're terrible rulers. Second of all, this was fucked. You don't get to be rulers anymore. And she strips them of their title, and she hands their titles over to the prince and the princess, who are like, no, we don't want that. We're like 16 years old. And she's like, take it or not, but it's gonna be there. They don't get it back. And so they basically are like, okay. So they have to take it, so there's not a power vacuum. They decide, they're like, okay, listen. They went and they made sure that the king and queen never wanted for anything, and they took care of them, which is like too nice. They don't deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they lived happily ever after, beloved by their subjects. And the last line is, as for the enchanter, I don't believe he's been let out yet.
Good.
Yeah. So this story,
Perish.
La Princesse Pimpinella et le Prince Romarin. Romarin? I did the exact same last time. A French fairy tale. It was written by author Anne-Claude de Caylus. He was born in 1692, and he died in 1765. And he was born on October 31st, which I don't need to mention, but is fun.
And Halloween.
Halloween, baby. He was a prolific artist. That's like a lot of what he was known for. He was particularly skilled in etching, and I looked at his stuff. It's very fun, very cool. He was also a writer of many fairy tales, many of which were included in the Green Fairy book. Like I said, it's mostly French fairy tales in this one. Andrew Lang mentioned him in the introduction and attributes him to a couple of the stories, but this one and others are listed in Wikipedia as being published by Lang, quote, without the proper authorship. So there's some shade thrown at Andrew Lang in this one.
Get fucked.
Yeah.
Sorry, redemption storyline.
Yeah, but that was something that I really liked.
I like that.
Yeah, the epic little tale, Princess Potentilla.
I liked that so much.
It's nice, right?
I love a good obnoxious wizard.
God, he had so much more character than any other like enchanter. Usually they're just like evil. This guy was just like everything in excess.
Yeah.
He had such a character.
I like that so much.
Yeah, he was not a hateable wizard.
Counterpoint, what about all them frogs?
You know what,
I hate him, but I do...
Statistically speaking, if you have 10,000 frogs and 100 of them die, it's not that many frogs that died.
Yeah, but that's 100 empty chairs at 100 little frog dinner tables, and their families are crying.
Do you think they were paid, like they were compensated for the loss? Like a workplace compensation. Do you think the little frogs have a sign in their little frog factory that says, "It's been 0 days since a workplace death," and then they had to like erase that,
Erase the 0 and put in another 0.
I forgot how it worked. I forgot how that sign works. Anyway, I know math. Cool, Max.
Cool, Janey.
Everybody, if you liked this, spend the new year hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Join us on Discord.
Your New Year's resolution is come hang out.
Your New Year's resolution is to come and hang out with us. What are you doing? What else do you have to do?
My New Year's resolution is I might go to the grocery store later tonight. What do you think?
No. You can join us on Instagram. I'm going to put up a bunch of pictures from these books and from, Herodotus, or whatever the fuck his name was.
Sure.
Hemogoblus. His name. Hemogoblus. Heliogabalus, I think was his name. Anyway, I'm gonna put up a bunch of paintings and stuff, so go look there if you want someone else to do the fucking Googling for you. I don't know. And rate and review. Thank you for getting us over 50 reviews before the new year. That was a really important thing for me on Apple Podcasts, because I'm the one on Apple Podcasts, and we did it.
Yeah.
And guys, that meant a lot to me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Not as much, but a
only
lot.
me. Max, I think, said, "That's a stupid goal," and then she hit me. So
That would never happen.
all right. And have a good fucking day, morons. Get gully washed.
Bye.
Oh, bye. Max,
Janey.
what are your New Year's resolutions?
I'm going to read 50 books. I'm going to drink more tea. I am going to work on some projects that have been in process for a long time. I'm going to build some furniture. I'm going to work on my annotated and abridged version of Varney the Vampire.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about that too.
I'm going to start learning how to walk or jog.
Oh,
It turns out
starting back at the beginning.
Yeah, I literally don't know how to run or jog anymore, so I'm going to relearn how to do that, because that seems like a useful skill in case I'm ever being chased by a murderer.
Yeah.
What else? That's pretty much it. I already eat a lot of vegetables. I was going to say eat more vegetables, but I eat a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, you are a vegetable queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are all really good.
Thank you. How about you?
I didn't have a reading goal until today, when I said I thought it would be easier to do a 23 books in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that. I don't know how many I read last year. Not that many. Not a big reader.
I read like 10.
Does it count if you reread the same book over and over
No.
again? Because last year, I think in 2022 I read Silence of the Lambs twice.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I need somebody else to read it so they can gush about this with me.
I'll put it on my TBR.
Oh my god. And then my goal is to make my fictional Silence of the Lambs podcast come true.
To be clear, fictional in that it
Right now
doesn't
it is
exist yet.
a fiction, and
It
I
is-
want it to be nonfiction by the end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fiction book, which is...
I would like to have a draft of my Greek Lovers book, including the illustrations, done
Hell yeah.
at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big one.